Coming up next, we're going to talk about a very important skill that'll help you grow and how to understand your choices, and we take your calls and your chats. It all starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Solutions Studios in Nashville, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how to get there. We are talking about working on purpose, fulfilling that desire that every human being has to make a difference in this world. If you use what you do best, your talent, to do work that you love, your passion, to produce results that matter deeply to you, your mission, guess what? You are in your sweet spot. People look at you and they say, you were born for this. So let's help you figure out what that is and then get there and experience life to its fullest. That's what we're talking about. We're not just looking at work and dream jobs and money. All that comes with it. Well, we're talking about living and working on purpose, because I believe that you were created to work, to fill a unique role. That means you are very much needed, and you must do it. You must show up and be the best version of yourself. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. You can also submit your question via the chat room, which is right there next to me here on YouTube. And we'll go to the laptop and take a few of those each show. Also, if you're enjoying the show, give us a thumbs up right below me. Subscribe, and if you feel like this show is going to help other people, you can just with one click share it on social media or share it directly with a loved one. We are growing. We're so grateful for that growth because it's about people, not about us. And so that's exciting, but I do want to say thank you to those who are continuing to watch and spread the news. So I want to talk about self-compassion. Now, this on the surface can feel a little kumbaya, but it actually is really important. Whether you are a leader or you are working your way up the ladder, this is about maximizing your contribution. Because if you are not healthy, you can't maximize. You cannot give what you do not have, is another way of looking at this. So Harvard Business Review just published some great information based on years and years of study on this idea of self-compassion, a relatively new term as it relates to about 15 years worth of research. That's what's underneath this. And Kristen Neff is one of the leading researchers on the subject. So I want to give her credit here. There are three core elements to self-compassion. Number one is self-kindness. Number two is common humanity, meaning just caring about people in general and the world around you. And then mindfulness, this idea of being self-aware and aware, not just having the empathy of the common humanity or for the common humanity. So those are the three core elements. So we just want to define these briefly. And in defining them, I want you, as you listen along, to self-assess yourself. You know, kind of just go, okay, take inventory. Where am I on the healthy spectrum in these three core areas? Mindfulness, let's just define them. Mindfulness is the idea of being aware that, man, this is really hard. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling fear. But be aware of these emotions, not be overwhelmed by them. So in being aware, you're able to go, uh-oh, feeling lots of fear right now, feeling lots of anger. I need to be aware here. Ooh, self-check. Let me see what that means in the context of where I am and how is that affecting me and the situation and those in the situation with me. That's the idea of mindfulness. You're not overwhelmed by the emotions. You're very aware so that you can self-regulate. Common humanity, just understanding that you're not alone in this world. From a leadership perspective, it can feel very lonely, but you're not the only leader going through this now. You're not the only leader who's gone through it. If you're on the individual scale here, hey, you're not the only person that was laid off as a result of COVID. You're not alone in this journey. And then finally, self-kindness. This is the voice. I talked about this, I believe, last week or a couple weeks ago on this show. I talked about the most important voice in your life is your voice. It'll be the voice you hear more than any other voice. It's your own voice. This idea of grace and mercy to yourself when you mess up. Can you be kind to yourself and treat yourself well so that you can adjust, so that you can heal, so that you can move forward? Now, if you look at these three areas, obviously this is a habitual practice. And the recommendation here is, I think this is really great. This idea of mindfulness and common humanity and self-kindness, if you can spend between 5 and 10 minutes a day reflecting, practicing the perspective in each of those areas, what will happen is your mind will begin to create the habit for you. And as I've said many times, if you're new to the show, I've talked about how neuroscience has proven that how we think determines how we act. And so if we are daily spending a little time being mindful, paying attention to the world around us, having some of that common humanity, and then being kind to ourselves, your brain now begins to, this is what we're going to focus on, and begins to see pictures and creates evidence that supports that 5 to 10 minutes of focused thinking. This can be a game changer for you as you are growing, because remember, there is no growth without challenges. And in order to be able to overcome and step through the challenges, you're going to have that mindset. So really good stuff there. Great research. Go check it out. And more importantly, begin to create the practice of reflection just a little bit each day, and it'll help keep you on the go. It works for me, I got to tell you. It's really huge, and I like to do it before I re-enter into the home life. I like to spend a little time getting centered on those areas. And I have some other areas, spiritual areas, when I'm thinking about some other things. But getting yourself centered before you can re-enter into, whether it be work or family life, really, really important. 844-747-2577 is the phone number to join in. We're going to start it off in Tucson, Arizona. Jeff is on the line there. Jeff, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you for taking my call.
You bet, Jeff. What's going on?
So I watched your segment on the SMART conference this past weekend, and I've been talking with my girlfriend that's currently a sign language interpreter, and she knows that in the next 5-10 years, she's going to have to go through a career path that is physically taxing on her body. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to help coach her the best way. And watching what you did on the SMART conference just made me want to reach out and how do I best help her?
Okay. Now explain to me what she's doing and the physical nature of it.
Sign language interpreting. She does a lot of video teleconference or in-person interpreting for people that are deaf and blind to those that communicate.
Sure, I get that, but why will she have to move on from this because of the physical challenge of
it? Issues with her joints and all that stuff.
Okay.
So she knows that it's physically taxing, like she's having to start see chiropractors and things of that nature.
Okay, and so she has to stand every time, or at least sitting with good posture for long amounts of time. That's what's going to eventually cause her to need to move on?
That, as well as with the joints in her hands.
Got it. Okay. Understand. I just wanted to know the full limitations of what we're dealing with. So this is a change that is going to be dictated to her. There's no way around it. Correct?
Okay.
Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay, good. All right. So there's some finality here. And the reason I'm asking all these questions is because the mindset here, if you're trying to lean in and help your girlfriend, you've got to understand that her mindset is huge in this transition, because I'm assuming that this is pretty traumatic for her because she enjoys this work.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So imagine your body essentially telling you, you're not going to be able to do what you love to do. I'm going to tell you what it would be for me. If I lose the ability to talk, vocal cords, like my mom's going through this right now. She had they think some type of virus. It wasn't even coronavirus, but she had some type of virus a couple months ago, and she can barely talk. Her vocal cords have just lost their juice, is my non-medical analysis, but her voice is basically a whisper. And if my body limited my ability to do what I do, I would be devastated. So I think you need to understand that.
I definitely do that. She's also looking at possibly becoming a Ramsey master coach.
So she does.
Wanting to focus.
So she does have a plan. That's good news. Is she excited about becoming a financial coach?
She is. She's just worried about the income level of what normal deaf and blind people can produce versus her financial viability if she had to completely leave ASL interpreting.
Okay. And what do you think is the biggest challenge that she's facing that you want help with? Just how to become a financial coach and how to build the business?
I believe so.
Okay. And what are any other limitations that she has in becoming a financial coach?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, this is one of those situations where I would love to have her on the line. You know what I mean? Where it's like we've done this a few times. And is she near you?
She is.
Can she get on the line? Can we do this? Are you open to this?
Absolutely.
Oh, this is exciting. All right. So what is her name?
Lisa.
Okay. So Madison, can we get her? Can we make this happen? There she is. Okay. Lisa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show, I'm told.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm good. I'm a little nervous.
Well, it's okay. You know what? You've got a great boyfriend. Like anytime like a spouse or a boyfriend calls the show and wants help encouraging or equipping their spouse, their partner, their girlfriend, boyfriend, it just always really impresses me. So I just want to say Jeff's a really good dude, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good guy. All
right, so let's dive into this. Since you're on the line now, tell me what is your specific fear if you sign up for Financial Coach Masters training? Which I'm not kidding you right now. Chris, you need to sit down right here. The guy who leads Financial Coach Master Training at Ramsey Solutions, he just walked by the window.
Okay, good. I have been going through the program, so I'm near the end of it.
Okay, great. So you're near the end of it.
Yeah.
All right. So Jeff calls me and says, my girlfriend Lisa is really afraid to make this full transition because you've been doing sign language and you've got I understand now the physical challenges. So your body's telling you you're going to have to move on. And so you're about ready to finish the training. What are you afraid of? Tell me specifically. Get real specific.
I think because I've spent so much time working with the special needs population, I really don't want to give that up. And so I want to figure out a way to include that in the next phase of my career. Okay, so you know this community better than I do, obviously. Mm-hmm. Once you're ready to go and you can coach financially anybody, whether they have a different challenge or not, how would you coach financially, knowing what you know now, someone who is blind? What would be the specific way that you would go about it? Yeah, I guess I think it would be like a little bit slower process for somebody who has, I guess, any disability. I've worked with multiple different disabilities over my career, but mostly deafness and blindness.
Exactly.
And I think it's just going to take longer. But then I guess my fear is that there are also a lot of people that are very vulnerable populations and they don't have necessarily the income to pay for coaching. That's exactly right. Okay, so let's talk about two challenges. Now, first of all, the fundamentals of Ramsey Solutions, the baby steps don't change whether you're deaf, blind, or have any kind of physical limitation at all. Isn't that correct? Mm-hmm. Right. And you have the patience and the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to teach the baby steps and the financial coaching to somebody, don't you? Yeah.
All right. So then the only real fear you have is, how could I make money if I'm trying to coach those who may not have as much money? So now this gets really creative. I would talk to our team about this, because not only do they train you, they help you grow your business. And I think there's a couple ways to do this. Now, I want you to tell the team. In fact, Chris is listening in right now. Okay, so he'll find out who your coach is, and we'll talk through this. Okay, but here's my take on this. Number one, you can't have the mindset that your entire financial coach business is totally towards those folks. I think it's both and. I think you're coaching people that don't have the challenges physically that would then limit their financial capacity. I don't think you limit it to just those folks, but I think you build your business early on with folks who don't have the challenges, and then you say, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at funding my own coaching towards the folks who don't have the money. Let me explain. Have you ever heard of Tom's shoes or Warby Parker glasses?
Yeah, I'm actually wearing Warby Parker.
Oh, so do I. I wear Warby Parker. So tell everybody, Lisa, how the Warby Parker business model works so you can hear it yourself. Explain it.
Oh, yeah. So for each one that they sell, they give a pair of glasses to somebody who.
Yes. So you know what I think your model should be? And people will love this. And this isn't a new idea, Lisa. So it's not like you're trying to reinvent something. You say, for every client that signs up for my financial coaching, I'm going to donate 3 sessions, 1 session. You do it however you want to do it, to somebody who is deaf or blind and doesn't have the financial capability to be able to afford my coaching. That becomes a really wonderful story, don't you think?
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think?
Exactly.
I think that she can build her business on that. And now I'm talking to Chris out here, who is head of financial coach master training. Madison's in my ear saying the boyfriend's Jeff. No, Chris has been held hostage. I made Chris, who leads our financial coach master training, he was walking by the window, folks. People are watching on YouTube. Directly in front of me is a giant glass window, floor to ceiling, and people can watch me like I'm a zoo animal. So I made Chris sit down so he could hear this call, because, Lisa, our team can help you build this out, this idea. Do you understand it?
Okay, yeah.
So here's the deal. While I love your heart, there he is. They're showing him on the YouTube. Wave at everybody. Chris, you're on YouTube. There he is right there. This guy's wildly successful with our team, and they've got an incredible team. So here's the deal. Review. You need to build this business the way they're going to teach you to build the business. But your narrative is just like Tom's and just like Warby Parker. And I would add one other element to this. I think you ought to get out in the community and go, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm trying to come up with grants or whatever the word is you want to come up with, and you can create a nonprofit version of your business where people will sponsor somebody who is less fortunate, who's behind the 8 ball in life. I think it becomes a really wonderful component to your business. So I think that you can do this, and if you've got to get a day job coming out of this transition because of your joints, if you need to get a day job that will fund this dream job, and you and Jeff, are you guys going to get married? I love putting the pressure on these couples. Are you guys, is this Jeff, are you going to put a ring on it or what?
We've only been dating for about a year, so we'll see.
A year? Jeff. All right. Jeff, you're still on the line, right?
Yes, sir.
What are you waiting on? You guys have been dating a year.
Taking it slow from past issues, not with her.
All right, you're getting healthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I will now take my foot off the gas. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. It's like the Family Feud where everybody goes, good answer, good answer. That's a very good answer. But listen, if you guys decide to move forward, Jeff, do you get this plan? Because you're the guy that initiated this call, and I just pulled your girlfriend on the line. So I turned it into couples counseling as well, not just career coaching. Jeff, do you like this plan?
I love the plan. I had never actually heard of that, the glasses or the shoe idea. So that's actually great.
Well, fantastic. So your job is to be a cheerleader for your girlfriend. And Lisa, you finish the training, you get the extra coaching. Whoever your coach is, I want you to tell them what just happened. And they know Chris. He's the lead dog. He was watching the whole thing. And I want you to ask them to help you build that model, because they don't just train you, they coach you to build the business. And I think you're going to win big time. I think you're going to win big time. This is a great story. You know what's going to happen? We have a lot of people watching this that are probably financial coaches, and they're going to go, oh, I'm going to do the same thing, which is fine. Because this is a new business model. And by the way, I know Blake McCoskey personally. He's a friend of mine. He's the founder of Tom's Shoes. And when he first started the company, nobody had heard of it. I had the opportunity to meet him and interview him. And his model has changed business forever. You know, people love a narrative. They love a story connected to their purchase. And in helping others get financial freedom, they are going to contribute to others getting free. I think that's a wonderful story. Jeff, Lisa, you guys are a great couple. Thanks for having some fun. Let me put you guys on the spot. That's kind of fun and unique. I love that so very much. All right, let's go to Lee in Raleigh, North Carolina. Lee, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hello, Ken. How you doing today?
Lee, I'm living the dream. What's going on?
Okay, well, I actually came across your YouTube channel recently, and I saw a video where a caller called in about a toxic job environment, and it was like, oh, I got to call in about mine too and see what you say about this. But yeah, I've been in the same company for 25 years, pretty much been miserable there the whole time. Of course, you know, you grow up, you have to get a job. That's what you're told.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. But over the years, it's just gotten worse and worse. And over the past 2 years, with management being shifted over, it's just gotten more toxic. And at the beginning of this year, of March, when we had COVID, when it first came out, they told everybody in the office that they needed to work from home. And I was part of that. And one of the reasons they did that was, number one, state regulations, you know, because you can only have so much capacity. And number two were the people that had underlying health issues, which I do have chronic asthma and high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. And so everything was fine, been working from home, did everything I was supposed to do. And then July, they started doing rotating shifts where, you know, they would take teams, divided into three specific teams, where those teams would work with a base team that was there all the time. Well, I was on a rotating shift all the way up until October. It just happened in October. And basically, they're forcing me to go back into the office to work full time while they're still having people rotating shifts. So my question is, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. It's very toxic. The management yells and cusses at everyone. Just recently, we had a manager that had to leave because his son got into a car accident. And when he came back the very next day, one of his bosses came to him and started screaming and hollering at him, telling him he shouldn't be doing that. Mm. And my question is, since I think I've been singled out, honestly, but I need to know, how can I cope with being there? Of course, I have to have income. You know, I can't just quit a job, you know, benefits and income. But I really want to get out of there, but I've got to figure out a way, because I really don't care about the job anymore. I don't care about the people there anymore. I don't even care if I do anything anymore.
I get it. No, I can hear the emotion. I think you're just emotionally broken.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how
there's been a lot of stuff that happened over the years there.
All right, so let me set you free right now. Right now. But you have got to believe what I'm about to tell you, Lee. You hear me?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Lee, you don't have to work there. You don't have to work there much longer.
And I feel like I'm stuck. That's my problem.
No, you're not. Lee, let me say it again. You do not have to work there for the rest of your life. You do not have to work there much longer. That's where we start, Lee. Now, Lee, I want you to let that wash over you.
Okay.
Now, let's spend the rest of our time figuring out what you want to do, what you can do, and let's at least get you out of this into another day job. Doesn't even have to be on the ladder to the dream job, but let's get you out of this toxic environment and get you healthy and free your soul, because your heart is just beat up and your brain is beat up as a result of the emotional beatdown. So first
and
things
actually,
first.
it's caused physical because the stress. I've already had panic attacks. I've already had.
I know. Lee.
I've been diagnosed with gastritis this year because of this.
I know. Lee, listen to me. We're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to talk about the future. Okay. You got me?
Okay. Got you.
All right,
gotcha.
Lee. Let's just have some fun for a moment. And if you don't know the answer to this, that's fine. I know, but listen, do you believe that you can walk away from this thing? Yes or no?
Do I believe I can? I do believe I can, but then there's a part of my brain that tells me, okay, Lee, you've got income coming in. If you do that, what's going to happen?
Lee, I'm going to take care of you. Lee, listen to me. Okay. I'm going to come up with a plan with you that does not involve you being unemployed. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
All right, so let's go back to your question. Ken, how do I cope? Here's how you cope. I tried to get you in the mindset. I think you're fighting me a little bit because I don't know that you truly believe you can get out of there, so we're going to get busy. But the way you cope, Lee, is you come in starting tomorrow, on Monday, going, I'm not here much longer. I can put up with these jerks because I'm on my way out. You feel me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Lee, what would you do if I could just point my Ken Coleman Show pencil to somewhere else in Raleigh, North Carolina, and put you in that job? What would you do?
And it could be anything.
Well, that's not good enough of an answer, Lee.
No, I'm just asking, could it be anything?
Of course it could be anything. What would you do, Lee? And I don't want you to come up with all the things why you couldn't get there. I want you to answer the question. If I pointed you somewhere on Monday and you knew the environment was going to be healthy, you knew that you would not fail, what would you do, Lee?
Well, one of the passions that I have is actually I've thought about going to school to be a therapist, and I actually like to do speaking. I like to speak. I like to write. I love to do something like that. Hold on. What kind of therapy? Who would you be giving therapy to? The therapy would be for anybody, I think, that's going through the situations that I've been through in life, work, whatever, and how I can handle and how I've handled it and come on to the other side and show people how they can get on the other side as well. So who are you giving therapy to? Is it this is classic counseling and you're going to be working with people that are dealing with anxiety, depression, all kinds of things? Yes. That's your heartbeat. And behavior, yes. Okay. All right. So the challenge is you've got to make how much money? How much money do you need to make to replace this current job? It's not a difficult answer. What do you make? What do you make right now? Bi-weekly, I am bringing home $1,400 every 2 weeks. Okay, so you've got to replace that. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a trick question. It's whatever your annual salary is, that's what you've got to replace, okay? Right. Okay. So we got to figure out what you do well, just from a skill level. And Raleigh, North Carolina, good place, good economy there, relatively good. I think your governor's locked the place down, but reality is there's still jobs out there. Mm-hmm. So what could you do to step into a different job? You just got the talent to do it. And then you're going to have to save up the money, go online. If you got to do online school for a while, part-time, that's fine. But then you will go get the degree and then the certification, the training to become a licensed counselor and go work for somebody. I mean, that's the path. I'm giving you the big view, the 35,000-foot view, but that's how you would get there. Do you understand that journey? Yes. Okay, so get clear is, Ken, I want to be a professional psychological counselor, okay? And I want to do counseling. Great. Do you want to do it in schools? Do you want to do it in a clinic? Do you want to do it for a nonprofit, a ministry? I mean, these are things that you will eventually decide. But if you're telling me that the dream would be to be a professional counselor, now that takes us out of stage one, which is get clear, and stage two is get qualified. So what education and experience do you need? Well, you need the counseling degree, and then you'll need to put in a certain amount of hours, and you can look that process up, not difficult to find. And so that's the experience. And then how much is that going to cost you financially? And then based on your financial reality, how long is that going to take? So if you don't have any debt
And if it's single income or double income and family, you got all that stuff you got to figure out, right? And say, okay, it's going to take me 3 to 4 years. Well, you can't last 3 to 4 years in your current environment. Yes or no? You can't, right? Hello, Lee. All right, we've lost Lee. Lee it looks like he's there, but I can't hear him. So, Lee, here's the deal. You've got to replace this current toxic day job with another healthy day job. That's step one. Get you out of that environment, and you're just doing a job that you're good at. You don't have to love, because we got to get you healthy. Okay? And then you take on maybe a second job or a better day job, and you begin to climb financially, and you're saving money so that you can afford to go to school while you work. Because I figured out enough to know you can't stop working. So you're going to have to go to school part-time, and it's going to take a little longer, but it's going to get you there. And so that's the path. Folks, I want to remind everybody, when I give advice to a guy like Lee, he may be on a 5 to 7 year journey, but that's okay. It took me 9 years, folks. 9 years to get to the dream job. I had to run my own business. I had 3 kids under the age of 3. I didn't have a degree in broadcasting. I don't have a degree at all. I'm the college dropout. Woo-hoo-hoo! You know, it can be done. So the reality is that it takes time depending on what the dream is. He's looking at counseling degree, and then he's going to have to put in his time, and then he'll get fully licensed, and then he's got to get the job. Realistically, 5 to 7 years is what he's looking at. Maybe a little less, but I'd like to be realistic around here. But is it worth it? It's always worth it. It's always worth it. All right, let's go to the chat room. We're going to move quick. I've got to teach. I'm really excited about today's teaching on understanding what I really believe are the 2 big choices that we talk about here on the Ken Coleman Show as it relates to working and living on purpose. I think there's really just 2 choices, and I want you to understand them, so I'm going to get to that. But we'll just do one quick chat here. BS268, I was forced to quit my old dream job to go work with my parents, and I hate it. How can I leave my parents' business that is all for me without feeling guilty? Oh, wow. This is an onion here. I'm going to answer this now, but this could be a phone call if you want to call in and we really unpack some of the dynamics between the parents. But here's the answer. Your parents didn't force you. They put a lot of pressure on you to come work in the family business because it's for you. But they didn't force you. You need to take some ownership here that you allowed their parental pressure to make it feel as though you were forced. It was parental pressure. I get it, but you chose. Now you know you hate it. So what you got to do is sit down with mom and dad and say, hey, I hate this. I don't want to work in this business. It has nothing to do with you all. I appreciate that you want me to be a part of it. Are you willing for me to be an owner where I'm just an owner and maybe I'm involved? We set up some type of family board above the business, and I'm always involved, and I'm the owner, but I'm not running the business. I'm not even working in the business. This is the way that I want to be involved, because I think that's pretty much what it is. But you don't need to feel guilty, because you're going to end up resenting your parents if you don't already. And so this is dangerous. So you need to have that conversation with them. I can be an owner, but I'm not going to work on or in the business, but I will maintain ownership and oversight and accountability as an owner. That's the only way I want to be involved. And if they're not cool with that, then great. But just explain it's about your passion. And what you also have to do in that narrative is explain to them what you are excited about, what you are driven to do, and let them see something else so that they see, well, you're not rejecting us. You're saying yes to something else. I think that's really important. Okay, here we go. We'll stay here on this camera. Here's today's teaching, understanding really the 2 choices in life that I think you're faced with as it relates to work. Because I think you have 2 choices. And I realize we have a lot of young people that watch the show. So Joe's going to get this one. Nathan may get it, but there's a great classic movie with Keanu Reeves called The Matrix. And if you haven't seen the movie, if you're young, trust me, go watch all of them. and you'll understand the analogy. But if you haven't seen it, you'll still get this. So in the movie, there's this wise character named Morpheus, right? And the Matrix is this alternate reality, chip in the back of your head, basically. You plug in, and it's like this alternate reality. And so you've got the real world, and then you've got the Matrix, and Neo, who is Keanu Reeves' character. And I don't want to give away the movie. The bottom line is there's a moment in the movie where Morpheus looks at him, and in one hand, he's got a blue pill, and the other hand, he's got a red pill, and he says, it's your choice. The choice is yours. You take one pill, you're going to wake up in your bed, and you're back to the real world. You take this pill, you're going to stay in the Matrix, and it's your deal. And that's your future. You stay in this alternate reality. And there's other great movies where choices are like this. I think of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Narnia, Lucy. She finds out about the Bureau. She steps into the Bureau. Then she steps into this alternate land of Narnia. She's given a choice. Does she want to stay in her real world, or does she want to go to this fantasy world? Now, the reason I'm setting this up is because I think a lot of you still kind of interact with the phrase dream job. When I talk about it, or you hear other people talk about it, I think you interact with it like these characters. Well, Ken, the dream job is it's just kind of this thing for a few fortunate souls. The rest of us, well, we're the just everyday men and women, and we just got to work and pound it out and just try to make the best of it. That's what I think that you subconsciously, and some of you consciously, have really made that decision. But I would tell you, you need to understand these choices. Because if you choose to not be who you were created to be, and that includes your work, if you choose that, I want you to understand what you're really choosing. You're not just choosing to be normal. What you're choosing to do is choosing not to make the contribution that the world needs from you. This isn't motivational gibberish I throw at you folks. As I open the show every day that says, and I say, you were created to fill a unique role, you were needed, you must do it. It really is a choice. You are not saying, well, I'm not going to pursue that. It's too hard. It's too expensive. It's going to take too much time. People are going to criticize me. I might get rejected. I might fail. So that's just too much of an adventure. I'm going to go ahead and just play it safe. See, that's a false choice. You aren't choosing to be safe. You aren't choosing to be smart. You are choosing to be selfish and to withdraw from actual reality. Chasing the dream is not this virtual reality that, is a fun adventure for some. No, it is the reality. And I would tell you that not choosing to be who you are and be the best version of that is actually choosing a false reality, and you are withdrawing from life. I think it's that serious. It's that important. So either you choose to live and work on purpose, or you are choosing to withdraw from this life and sit on the sidelines of life. You are not truly living. It's that serious. So understand those choices. All right. My time is almost up. But before I let you go, I want you to know that you matter and you do have what it takes. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.